You know, sometimes I think having a serial killer like Dexter wouldn't be all that bad. I mean, if it's already a given that he's going to kill, why not have him take out the scum of the earth, people who do nothing but hurt other human beings? Although, Dexter did end up killing a bunch of people who didn't fit the code, so maybe it wouldn't be that great of an idea. Still a fantastic show though. Here are 50 facts you didn't know about Dexter. 1. Jennifer Carpenter's character, Deborah Morgan, is known for her frequent swearing. Amazingly, she used the word fuck 996 times throughout the show's 8-season run.
Oh, sweet Mary, mother of fuck, that's good.
2. During season 8, Angel Batista wasn't always played by David Zayas. His son, David Zayas Jr., stands in for his father in some shots, as the two look remarkably alike. 3. According to Jennifer Carpenter, she always knew that Deborah was in love with Dexter, and played her with that in mind from the beginning of the series, so she wasn't surprised when the storyline was introduced. 4. The actors on the kill table are actually naked. Except for some flesh-colored G-strings, they've got nothing on. They are also secured pretty snugly and can't get up unless someone lets them off the table. 5. Dexter was originally going to die in the series finale, but producers and Showtime would not allow it. 6. Dexter's boat is named the Slice of Life. 7. When Peter Weller learned that his character was going to be killed by Dexter, he put it as his condition that Stan Liddy would not die on Dexter's table. 8. Remember those iconic painted nails the ice truck killer left as his calling card? That block of ice they were frozen in is actually a solid block of acetate. The fingers were created from silicone and painted with regular old nail polish before being placed inside the acetate. The ice block now lives in the prop room. 9. Director Michael Cuesta initially approached Jeremy Renner to play Dexter, but Renner declined the part as he felt he could not play another serial killer again after playing Jeffrey Dahmer. 10. Though they played brother and sister in the series, having met on the show, Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter married on December 31st, 2008. They subsequently divorced in December 2010, but continued to work together on the show and are still very good friends. 11. Sergeant Angel Batista at times refers to Dexter as socio when speaking to him as a friend. This is a clever play on words. While socio in Spanish means associate or partner, it is also the beginning of the word sociopath in English. 12. Dexter's famous knockout syringe contains a solution of what he refers to as M99, or etorphine hydrochloride, an animal tranquilizer more potent than morphine, used by vets to sedate animals as large as elephants. The substance can only be legally acquired and administered with a DEA license. 13. Dexter has killed about 135 people according to the Dexter Wiki. He had 45 blood slides in his first box before it got destroyed. 14. Michael C. Hall revealed that he was afflicted with Hodgkin's lymphoma in January 2010, but continued to work on the series. Most of his fellow cast members were surprised by the news because he had not disclosed his condition during production. 15. Michael C. Hall wore a wig for season 5 of Dexter because of hair loss due to chemotherapy for his Hodgkin's lymphoma. 16. Julie Benz originally auditioned for the role of Deborah Morgan. 17. Michael C. Hall accidentally crashed the Slice of Life into a pier once during filming, causing $8,000 worth of damage to the boat. 18. Due to restrictive child labor laws in the film and television industry, identical twins Luke Andrew Krunchev and Evan George Krunchev shared the role of Harrison, Dexter and Rita's baby boy. 19. The season 6 Blu-ray of Dexter had an unskippable trailer that spoiled the season's finale. 20. While filming the Dexter episode, The Damage a Man Can Do, actor Jimmy Smits, playing Miguel Prado, accidentally stabbed a stuntman with a real knife. 21. The names Dexter Morgan and Deborah Morgan refer to the two laws of famous mathematician De Morgan. Informally, the laws are not A and B is the same as not A or not B, and not A or B is the same as not A and not B. It perfectly describes their mentality towards the existence of each other. Neither Deborah nor Dexter can live without the other. Both characters express that several times throughout the series. 22. In Miami from 2006 to 2013, there were anywhere between 59 to 79 murders a year. Dexter on average kills one person a month, which means he accounts for roughly 15 to 20% of the murders in Miami during that time period. 23. It takes 12 hours to set up a typical Dexter kill room. Prop master Joshua Meltzer revealed that the most intense kill room was for Season 4, Episode 1, Living the Dream. It was set in a boxing ring, and the entire place had to be draped in plastic. "We try to make our kill rooms works of art," Meltzer said. "That's what the show is about. We all know our crew. When we do our kill room days, that's a tough day for everybody. It's an emotional day for Michael, it's an emotional day for the poor guy who's on the table, and it's a tough day for the crew, because we're gonna be there filming usually anywhere between 8 to 9 hours. 24. The way Dexter wraps his victims has changed over the seasons. You may have noticed that in Season 1, Dexter's victims were much more cocooned in plastic wrap than they are now. By wrapping the actors so tightly, the crew discovered that they were actually suffocating the actors. The plastic was enveloping them so much that the skin wasn't breathing, and it became dangerous at times. Meltzer helped to create the classic Dexter wrap that's used now, which has 4 layers. A wrap at the feet, the hips, the torso, and the head. 25. In Season 1, Dexter and Rita watched the film Terms of Endearment, which features actor John Lithgow. I don't know if this was planned or not, but Lithgow then later stars in Season 4 as Arthur Mitchell. 26. The advertisement on Foxtel in Australia promoting Dexter was pulled after the South Australian government filed complaints regarding the mention of the city Adelaide as having the highest serial killer count per capita.
Well, apparently Adelaide has more serial killers per capita than any other city in Australia.
27. Dexter frequently uses aliases that make reference to Bret Easton Ellis books and their film adaptations. These include using Patrick Bateman from American Psycho when buying tranquilizers, and Sean Ellis, a reference to both Ellis and Sean Bateman from The Rules of Attraction when seeing a psychiatrist. 28. Dexter was actually rarely shot in Miami, not even in Florida. In fact, production rarely strayed outside of California. Most of the exteriors were shot in Long Beach, while interiors were all done at the Sunset Gower Studios on Sunset Boulevard. Some second unit crews shot additional footage in Miami, but that mostly consisted of those helicopter shots of the Florida coast and the Miami city skyline from above. 29. Composer Daniel Licht initially wrote Dexter's theme song as part of the score for the horror anthology movie Necronomicon, Book of Dead. 30. Dexter uses 4 knives to create a kill. Dexter's hero kill knife was actually created in Season 3, which is when I took the show over as prop master, Joshua Meltzer said. A knife was designed for each specific shot. There is a hero kill knife, all dulled, and a retractable knife. The handle is solid and longer, and the blade is shorter. But for the split second when it goes into the chest, the audience doesn't see it. The third knife used is a handle that screws onto a chest plate that's strapped to the actor, so it looks like it's sticking out of the chest of the actor. There's also a blood knife, which has a blood bladder on the side of it to create a pool of blood. 31. There's a secret recipe for the blood used on set, and it's Joshua Meltzer's own special blend of maple syrup, food coloring, peppermint oil, and Dawn dish soap. The blood is made from maple syrup because it has a thicker texture and cleans up easier than corn syrup, he said. If we use blood outside, flying things like wasps and bees that are drawn to the syrup don't like peppermint, so if you put in some peppermint oil, you won't have a problem. There's nothing worse than someone lying next to a pool of blood and all of a sudden, they're worried about being stung. And the dish soap? Adding that in helps the fake blood wash easily out of clothes. 32. When Dexter collects a blood sample, it's that same maple syrup blend. But when we see the slide in its case, the finished product is actually made from furniture dye. This furniture dye looks more like dried blood on a blood slide than all the different maple syrup formulas we used over the years, Meltzer explained. Even though Dexter burned his slides in Season 7, the boxes remain intact on the prop truck. 33. See that pool of blood? It's not actually blood or maple syrup. It's a blood pool made from acetate and can be picked up and thrown into any blood circle Dexter creates. It feels a lot like plastic and is about as thin as a few sheets of loose leaf paper. 34. When Dexter slices into his victims to get that blood sample, he's obviously not really cutting them. Thanks to the magic of props, the scalpel Dexter uses has a rig, which means that it's a dull blade rigged with a blood pool on one side. The side filled with blood goes to the off-camera side, and when it comes across the cheek, Michael presses and forces it out onto the cheek. The blood that oozes out is that same maple syrup mixture. 35. They use real chainsaws and knives in the kill rooms. The way they're able to get away with that is by dulling the weapons. So for a chainsaw, the teeth are dulled. Same goes for the blades of any knives. You can still get hurt with it, Meltzer said, but it's not going to rip you up. 36. When you see blood fly up and onto Dexter, it's a practical effect done live on camera. As Dexter cuts or saws, there's a sprayer just under the camera that sprays the blood onto him. 37. It takes a few weeks to make a fake head. When you think of all the detail that goes into making a realistic dummy head, it makes sense. Meltzer uses real hair and puts each hair on individually, stubble and all. The head is also airbrushed and hand-painted to get each detail to perfection. Even the fake teeth are made from the crown material dentists use. 38. A body goes into 3 trash bags, and then there are fake body parts in those bags. When we first started, we actually went out on the water, Meltzer said, and we had divers who would go and retrieve the bags. Then we tried doing it with safety lines on them, but the lines would break and the bags would rip. Now we do it all on a stage, and we make the water CGI. We just do an upshot of Michael, where the camera is basically in the water, and there's an effects man under the camera with a sprayer who splashes water up on Michael. 39. One of the more peculiar theories about Dexter links it to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. When Nina finds Angel about to chow down on a couple of hamburgers and truth be told, she admonishes him for indulging in fast food from the Double Meat Palace, a franchise previously introduced in Buffy where the Vampire Slayer worked, and it was hinted they used something sinister for their delicious hamburgers. So what's the connection between the two series? Well, regular Dexter producer Drew Z. Greenberg was previously a staff writer on Buffy and worked the reference in. 40. Executive producer Sarah Colleton explained that she never told the actors ahead of time when their character was about to be offed. You can't tell them at the beginning of the year, because it's just too hard for them to spend a whole season knowing this. It would somehow affect their performance. 41. Some aspects of the Trinity Killer parallel the BTK Killer. The BTK Killer, or Dennis Rader, maintained a very normal family life and was active in the Christ Lutheran Church in Park City, Kansas. Among many positions, he was a deacon and congregation president and Cub Scout leader. Ironically, it was his use of a church computer that first led to him being caught. 42. In Dexter's case, there were 2 high-profile murders whose perpetrators were said to be following in the character's footsteps. Aspiring filmmaker Mark Twitchell apparently adopted the persona of Dexter, idolizing the character and even starting a fake Facebook account under the character's name. He was found guilty of the planned and deliberate murder of 38-year-old Johnny Altinger after posting a status stating that Dexter is patiently waiting for his next victim. Turns out he really did inhabit the character's mind to a degree. Meanwhile, young Andrew Conley said the show inspired him to strangle his 10-year-old brother, and he stated, "I feel just like him." Conley actually placed a plastic bag over his brother's head after killing him, just like Dexter does. 43. Darkly Dreaming Dexter, the first novel by Jeff Lindsay, was reviewed positively when it was released in 2004. As happens with such well-received and best-selling novels, it was immediately optioned for the screen, except at first, Dexter was planned to be a movie star, not the lead in a long-running TV show. The only reason that producers shifted gears and envisioned it as a TV series was because they thought that audiences would automatically assume it was just another slasher movie, and they had trouble financing it as a result. 44. Not everybody was so enamored by the thought of Michael C. Hall playing Dexter, least of all Jeff Lindsay, author of the book series Dexter is based on. In fact, Jeremy Renner may very well have become the frontrunner to play Dexter because of how adamant Lindsay was that Michael C. Hall not get the role. He had seen him play the neurotic Fisher in 6 Feet Under and didn't think that the actor had the chops to play a convincing serial killer. Apparently, he only had to read one line of the script and Lindsay immediately changed his tune and has since described him as absolutely perfect for the role. 45. David Zayas joined the Air Force at 19 years old and was also a police officer for almost 15 years with the NYPD. After a divorce and bankruptcy, he felt like it was time for a change, so he started taking acting classes. 46. The name Dexter is derived from the Latin word for right hand. Jeff Lindsay thought it was the perfect name for a dangerous serial killer trying to live a normal life among the same humans he is compelled to hunt, because it symbolizes the character's fake life. 47. Melissa Rosenberg was a writer for the first 4 seasons of Dexter, and left to write screenplay for all 5 Twilight movies. 48. Entertainment Weekly included Dexter Morgan in its list of the 16 Ultimate TV Antiheroes at position number 8 in the July 15th, 2012 issue. And Dexter was also ranked number 30 on Empire Magazine's 50 Greatest TV Shows of All Time. 49. In many of the crime scenes where Dexter gathers photographic evidence for forensic evaluation, he uses a Nikon DSLR and a 105mm micro Nikkor lens rigged with a Nikon R1 twin macro flash kit. This ensemble enables him to shoot extreme close-ups without any shadow detail whatsoever. the preferred end result for such criminal investigations. 50. Former showrunner Clyde Phillips, who stepped down after the 4th season, actually had a plan for how the final scene would go down, beginning with Dexter waking up, hinting the entire show was a dream, which is a far worse twist, but don't worry, it was just a fake out. He's actually awake on the execution table at the Florida penitentiary, about to receive the lethal injection, and he sees everybody that he's killed or been responsible for the death of watching from outside the room. So the whole show would have been like his life flashing before his eyes. Much better. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And today's video is actually brought to you by Dollar Shave Club, and they have a pretty awesome deal I think you guys may like. As I'm sure you know, Dollar Shave Club delivers razors right to your doorstep, and if you go to dollarshaveclub.com/thewhy or click the link in the description, you can get a 1-month trial of any razor for just $1. No hidden fees, no commitments, and you can cancel anytime you like. Just go to dollarshaveclub.com/thewhy and get any razor you like for just $1. Alright, have a good day guys, I'll see you later.